things people think about in India is to either become a cricketer or an actor.
Your stardom spans generations. So some people remember you for Soldier, some for Dil Lagi, some for Ashram, and now Animal, Alpha. How does it feel to sort of leave an impression in every generation?
My dad always said that be true, be honest, and be a good human being, and everything will fall in place. Things changed a lot, and I'm glad that my dad saw that, my brother and me succeeding again. I still remember the day when Ashram released.
Were you nervous?
I was very nervous as to how my fans would react. I never told my mom or my dad or my brother about it.
Oh, damn, so it was a surprise for them. Well, recently, in an interview, you spoke about how every actor in the South that you've worked with ended up becoming a minister.
नहीं वो होता है ना जैसे हम लोग बैठते हैं दोस्तों से मिलते हैं तेरे को पता है मैंने उससे हाथ मिलाया और देख उसने सेंचुरी मारी
Double century.
It's his fourth in the series.
You feel excited.
What's the most romantic thing you've done if you had to think back to one moment? You look like a romantic.
I am a romantic.
We celebrities do that thing, you know, they show in movies that book a private jet and take the partner to
Why waste money like that? I've surprised her with things on and off, but eventually she said, stop surprising me because the things you get, I don't like them. So I said, okay.
People are not romantic in their gestures anymore. At best, they'll send emojis.
That's not nice.
Yeah, it's not. Do you guys still have date nights?
नहीं वही मैं लड़ता रहता हूँ अपनी वाइफ के साथ हम लोग कहीं जाते ही नहीं हैं
आप लड़ते हो उनके साथ या वो लड़ती हैं आपके
मैं
साथ?
लड़ता हूँ I remember I used to hate wearing clothes. I mean, not wearing clothes, but I used to hate going shopping. I hate wearing clothes.
Hello, Bobby. How are you today?
I'm good. I had a great shoot.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. It was quick. So I'm happy.
Yes, you're quite a professional. My entire team tells me. But you know, before we start, I'd like to just share something with you that I've done close to 200 interviews. This is my third year of podcasting, and for the last 150 weeks, I have shot every week. Never in my life I have had as many friends, family, colleagues send in requests and regard when they found out that I'll be sitting with Bobby Deol.
Thank you.
So, you know, my question to you probably should be that how does it feel to be so iconic?
I feel blessed, you know, because it's all thanks to my father, because the kind of human being he was, the way he touched everyone's hearts, it made such a strong impression of honesty and, you know, family. And so everyone considers us they always considered my dad as a member of their family. And I think thanks to him, I truly believe that he made space for us in everybody's hearts. You know, so we're so lucky.
Yeah. I think legends have come from a very legendary family in Bollywood.
I always say I'm blessed. I say that all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel very blessed, and it's just amazing. I mean, I'm sure not. I always say this to people when I give interviews that it's not just the Deols who are like that. There's so many other families which are like that, you know. And but because we are from the film industry, so people talk more about the Deols in that manner because of my father. But there's some great people out there, you know, and that's why when people ask me questions of how is your family like this, I said I don't know. I think this is how it should be, you know, because that's how normal I feel about it.
You know, the most interesting thing about you, I feel, is that your stardom spans generations. So there is a generation, for example, me and my brother, we've grown up watching Dil Lagi. In fact, my brother Viren, he was so obsessed with your character Rajveer in Dil Lagi that it has shaped his entire youth. So, you know, he would imagine himself probably driving a Mercedes Benz and going to college and, you know, channeling the inner Rajveer and finding a Shalini for himself. Then, you know, some people remember you for Soldier, some for Dil Lagi, some for Ashram. And, you know, like now the people are really fawning all over you because of your roles in Animal, Alpha, all of this. So how does it feel to sort of leave an impression in every generation?
You know, I think I've been in this industry for 30 years, and there was always love for my family and for me. And somehow in between the phase I went through, the younger generation didn't know much about me. And luckily, I really put all my effort and hard work into working on myself. and I achieved that, and it makes me feel nice because to connect with the younger generation, you know. And yes, Dil Lagi is definitely my favorite film.
Yeah.
Not because you just spoke about it being your brother's big influence, but also for me it was a very special film. I think the kind of character I got to play in Dil Lagi was so interesting because it was grey and it was real,
Yeah.
you know, and I was being directed by the best director because my brother knows me inside out, and every time he felt that I wasn't feeling the emotions, he'd really come up to me and talk to me really sweetly, and you know, keep very nicely, you know, getting it the right thing out of me. And I think the best performance I always feel that my best performance in my earlier career was in Dil Lagi because it was thanks to my brother, you know. So
Yeah.
for me, it's my most special film, and I love the music and working with everybody in that film.
Yeah.
So it sadly didn't do well, but people who have seen it now, they really like certain things about it, which makes me happy.
My brother has watched it more than 150 times.
What?
He remembers the dialogues, so he was obsessed with it. But
Okay.
it was very sweet to see how Sunny Deol took care of you in that film. I think the elder brother,
But that's
younger
how he
brother
is in real
equation.
life.
Yeah.
That's how he is in real life. That's why it is, you know. I mean, I wasn't a rebel in real life in the kind of character I played in that film, but my brother's always been like a father figure to me. He's, it's like he's gone out of his way. When my first film was being made, he stopped his own work so that he could put all his energies towards my first film being produced. He didn't want my dad to be stressed about it, and no brother would keep his career on hold and try to help start his brother's career. And so he's always been protective, very protective. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to be scared of him like hell. I mean, I would know, bhaiya aage, bhaiya aage, bhaiya aage. We used to run away. But that was just the respect you had for someone elder in the house.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, मेरी माँ तब साड़ियाँ पहनते थे तो चाबी का गुच्छा उनके कमर पर टंगा होता था. And in the house, suddenly we would hear the sound of those keys,
Yeah.
you know,
Chun, chun.
jingling, and you know, you just like, mummy aa gayi, mummy aa gayi. So it was always like that. Though that my mother wasn't, you know, going to come and fire us, but it was just a thing. You know, life was so simple then, and I'm lucky I was born in that period because I got to see that side of the world when it used to be that way, that side of lifestyle.
Yeah.
And now things have evolved and changed. Things are moving faster, but you know, but I think what I grew up with has kept me grounded even till date, and I'm very grateful for that. I mean, it's all thanks to my parents.
No, thank you on behalf of all the people who enjoy watching your work. We have thoroughly enjoyed your work and your movies. And, you know, I was wondering that you've been filming, you've been shooting for 30 odd years now. What is that one feeling that still makes you feel excited when you walk onto a set? Like, what is that one thing you still look forward to when you go on a set for shoots?
Every night I go to sleep, I thank God that I'm going to be working tomorrow. And every time I wake up in the morning, the thought that I will be going to work tomorrow just makes me alive. You know, it gives me that positive energy, and I think every person wants that. And I feel so overwhelmed sometimes, but also very, I mean, blessed is my word. And because I missed out on that for a few years, and I realized what was the most important and thing in my life. What was my love? What was my what do you call obsession? Was being an actor, you know. And I'm glad that I'm able to still be going to work, and things changed a lot, and I'm glad that my dad saw that, my brother and me succeeding again. And I think, you know, my dad always said that be true, be honest, and be a good human being, and everything will fall in place. And I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's something, you know, the most difficult thing for anybody from my industry is the wait to get that moment in their lives. And so they give up in that waiting period. And I've been through that. And I tell everybody who's young or who's been there for some time that don't give up, because that waiting period will feel like nothing afterwards. You know, you'll forget all that grief and all that pain you went through, because that is something that everyone goes through. Nothing can be perfect, nothing can be the way you want it, you know. But if you just keep believing in yourself and keep working hard at yourself and being consistent and disciplined, you'll achieve so much in life. It might not be the dream that you have, but you'll come close to that. People only want that dream to come true, but where has any dream come true? I'm not trying to make them feel negative about it when I say that. I'm just trying to say that, you know, we are so lucky that we have, what is the barometer, what is the meter, I mean, what is, how do you measure success? Success is not about how much money you make. Success is about how many relationships you've made and they've stayed strong with you. Because when you grow older, where are you going to take any of your money with you? But the relationships will be there, standing by you till the last breath you take. You know, they'll be around you. And that is what success is all about. To have friends, family, colleagues, you know, being there for you.
Yeah. आई थिंक बहुत सारे लोग स्पेशली यंग लोग वो फेलियर से इतना ज़्यादा डरते हैं, उनको रियलाइज़ नहीं होता कि सक्सेस की अहमियत ही तब है जब तुम फेलियर एक्सपीरियंस करते हो.
नहीं, पर डर तो रहता ही है. मतलब डर तो हमेशा रहता है. मैं ये नहीं कहता कि मुझे डर नहीं रहता कि आई माइट फेल अगेन, बट आई नो नाउ दैट इफ आई फेल आई कैन स्टिल गेट अप and stand on my 2 feet and do something.
Yeah.
There was a time when I used to think about failure, I never thought I'd be able to stand on my feet again. You know, but now I don't think like that. But डर तो हमेशा रहता है.
It keeps you grounded also, I
Yeah.
feel. You know, a while ago I was sitting with your cousin brother and I asked him one question, and I'd like to ask you the same question. What are top 3 Bobby Deol movies everyone must watch?
I think you should watch all my movies, good and bad. It doesn't matter.
Fair,
No,
fair.
but it's nothing like that. I mean, my top 3, I can never put them as top 3 in that manner, because every film is special to you, and there are certain films where you've had the worst experiences and they turned out to be really good, and there have been times where you were in a situation where you couldn't choose and you had to do something. So there are a lot of things that goes behind the scene before you choose a film and work on something. You know, you have a family you have to take care of, and so you kind of have to work sometimes without wanting to do that work. So now I'm lucky I don't have to be in that situation. I can choose, and I think that's the best gift I've got out of my hard work. You know, I think it's a gift, and that's what everybody wants to achieve in life, is to be able to choose what they can, you know. And yet it is difficult, but at the same time I am able to choose what I want to do. So for me,
Fair enough.
Dil Lagi is my all-time favorite because my brother directed it. But if I think of any other film where I had a great time working on, I enjoyed the experience of working with Abbas Bhai Mustan Bhai, because I've done quite a few films with them, and they've always treated me like the younger brother.
Yeah.
And it was always amazing being on set with them, you know. It was just always a great time. And then definitely, I mean, yeah, Animal is a special film for me because it changed my life. And working with Sandeep Reddy Vanga was a great experience, and working with Ranveer, my favorite actor. So that is maybe from my new innings, that's my one of my favorite things. But then I enjoyed working on a lot of OTT platform stuff. I actually thank OTT platform for existing, for giving me and many other actors the opportunity to do some interesting characters which you wouldn't be able to do, because box office matters, and then they don't take you because you can't, they calculate how good you would be as a character for this kind of a film on box office. But on OTT you get the opportunities to do different characters. And I think it all started with Class of '83, and then I did Ashram. Then I did
Bads of Bollywood.
No, before that I did Love Hostel.
Yes.
And then I did Bads of Bollywood. And I think each of them have given a different character to me and a different experience to me as an actor. And so I love the OTT platform. I really appreciate it. Though obviously the magic of silver screen is absolutely, completely, humongously big.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me with Animal, which I didn't even expect, but it happened. But I think I like being an actor, and for me, when I'm doing an OTT film or a web series, or when I'm doing a feature film for the theaters, I don't find anything different because I'm an actor working in front of a camera, So, but I'm just enjoying this new inning and just trying to do my best to do characters which are out of my comfort zone. That's what I was lucky that when I did Ashram, I was very nervous that how would people accept me as a bad person,
Yeah.
and but they loved me,
Yeah.
and I was like so surprised and actually shocked in many ways. I still remember the day when Ashram released.
Were you nervous?
I was very nervous as to how my fans would react, but that show gave me more fans, made more fans of mine, and
Yeah.
the best was that my mother is getting phone calls from her friends, my dad is getting phone calls, my brother's getting phone calls, that how amazing is your son in this show, and it felt so good,
Wow.
So I never told my mom or my dad or my brother about it because they wouldn't want me to play a bad guy.
Oh, damn, so it was a surprise for them.
Yeah, it was. But I don't think my brother's seen it or my dad has seen it. Or my mom, maybe a little bit,
I can imagine why.
because they cannot see me playing bad. But then I'm an actor, and actors are not being themselves in front of a camera, they're
Yeah.
playing characters. And that's the beauty of it. You can play characters who are negative, positive, grey, and actually enjoy being someone else for
Yeah.
that moment.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you remember the first film of yours that your sons watched? No?
No.
I'm sure they watch your films.
Yeah, they do. They're my biggest critics. They're very honest and blunt.
Kids these
It's very
days.
difficult to please them.
Ah,
And but that's good, it keeps you grounded.
yeah.
And also they both want to be actors, so
How does that feel?
well, I just believe that you cannot force anyone to do anything. I mean, I always wanted my kids to study and be graduates.
And Araman did study finance.
Yeah,
I'm
he did.
assuming.
He studied finance, and he actually passed out with honors.
Wow.
But he wanted to be an actor, and now he's training really hard. And I just hope that they are doing their best. And now it all depends on what kind of subjects they get to do, because our industry is very tough, and it's not easy. But they're really working hard. So let's see now. In a few years' time, let's see what happens.
Yeah. Do you, so what are the kind of topics that they usually come to you for advice on?
It's more about tell mom now. She's not listening. I want to do this. I want to do that. I said all the time you talk to your mother, and only when your mother's not giving in to you, you come to me.
So she's the bad cop and you're the good cop.
Well, yeah, kind of, but it happens in every household. I mean, the first person you turn towards is your mother,
Yeah.
and so my kids would always obviously be the same. Somehow the relationship you share with your mother is unconditionally. I mean, it's unconditional. There's no.
There's
how
no
do I
equivalent.
there's nothing you can argue, you can fight, you can open your heart, and I think that's just the way it is meant to be.
Yeah.
With your father or with you just think that you have to think twice before you say what you have to say. I don't know why that is, but my kids are not like that with me. They just
No?
say what they have to say.
Okay.
Because I've always tried to keep that kind of a relationship with them. I just want them to be as a friend with me than anything else. And I think somewhere I kind of achieved that with my sons, but sometimes maybe I blame myself that I become that father, like how fathers are.
So how does a father become a friend?
There's no rule as such. It's just that when your kids open up with you, I don't know how father and son are friends.
Yeah.
In which manner?
In the
I mean,
sense
I can't tell you that. It's more about understanding normal things about growing up. What we went through, and we wanted our parents to understand that.
Yeah.
So that stayed with me, and that's what I try to do with my kids. Because I used to say, I wish my father was like this. So I try to do those things with my kids because
Yeah.
I felt those things, you know. So
Do they come to you with relationship problems for dating advice?
I mean, they come to me with problems of any sort. It's not just dating, but anything. I meing, they're very open.
Yeah.
They don't hide anything. Nothing.
So are they scared of you?
No, they're not scared. They're
Out of respect.
respect. Out of respect, my kids are very well mannered. I think all the credit goes to my wife. She's just amazing. I mean, she's just. She has 3 boys. I'm the eldest,
Yeah.
and but maybe I behave like the youngest with her. But she is she's my backbone. She is the reason why I have become what I have become right now. You know, she's my strength, and again, I'm going to say I'm very blessed. But it's been 30 years, and I think she just knows how to be with the kids and to live in a joint family, and it's just the whole credit goes to her.
30 years being with somebody, what does it teach you about love? Because it is so heartening to listen to people talk about how blessed they are in their relationships and love life, because people my age right now are struggling real bad.
It is. I mean, I just think that you just meet a person in your life, and things just fall in place first. But then you always think that I need that meet that person where everything will fall in place and everything will be perfect. Nothing is perfect. You know, no relationship is perfect. And what I've learned is over the 30 years how to be with my wife. It wasn't from the first moment I met her. I mean, first moment you meet, it's more about romance and being so young at that point in your life. And then suddenly responsibilities come in the way, and then you have kids. So it's a journey you take on together, and things change in your life, circumstances change because you have become parents, and then there's other family members around you. So how you cope with it, and how do you understand it on the same level, and how you can explain to each other about situations without trying to change each other. I think somewhere all these things, when they fall into the right place,
Yeah.
things just go on smoothly, because there's nothing perfect in any relationship. You know.
Yeah, I think people my age or around my age struggle a lot because we have a lot of options, right? Because our dating pool is through dating apps. And this one person once used a very interesting analogy. He said कि जैसे स्विगी जोमेटो से खाना ऑर्डर होता है वैसे टिंडर और हिंज से ऐसे डेट ऑर्डर हो जाती है.
अच्छा ऐसे होता है आजकल.
हाँ, you swipe left or right and then you
Wow.
pick people and then
You're talking about my film Bandar right now.
No, it's pretty much same and it's morbid. It's honestly not romantic at all. I feel like romance is dying.
I guess because technology has taken over our lives. You know, everything is on the net, computers, gadgets.
Yeah.
So there's your life is spent more on gadgets than anything else. So you kind of use it for every kind of communication in your life.
Correct. People are not romantic in their gestures anymore. At best, they'll send emojis. And that's such a
know.
sad way of
Well,
expressing love.
that's not nice.
Yeah, it's not. Do you want to give advice to the young people
I
watching?
mean, what advice can I give?
How to be better at dating?
There's nothing. I mean, I'm not a great human. I mean, I'm not some kind of a person who can give advice. I can just say, just be true to yourself, you know, because one thing is so important is when you lie, you're basically lying to yourself first, you know, and don't lie, be honest, and things will just fall in place. I don't understand why people have to pretend to be someone else and not be themselves, because there's such, God has gifted us with such special gifts. We all are gifted, you know, with something special, and if we just be ourselves, things will just fall in place.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the thing it is. But people start getting so many, because they get so influenced by the social media and things
Yes.
around them, that they start getting so defensive and so confused about how they're supposed to be in the society.
Yeah,
You know.
that happens. So back in the day when you started dating your wife, did you guys also have a checklist? Like a lot of people now, they have a checklist when they're meeting a potential partner. कि ये salary होनी चाहिए, ये height होनी चाहिए, love language क्या होगी, hygiene, you know, like the guy should not have long nails. So there are a lot of things. There's like an entire checklist.
नहीं, हम तो अपने आप को चेक करने लगे शादी के बाद में ऐसा कुछ नहीं था उस मैंने तो कभी सोचा ही नहीं था, मुझे तो कुछ पता ही नहीं था कि ये सब देखना पड़ता है। अभी आपको किसी के साथ प्यार हो गया तो प्यार हो गया, चाहे वो कहीं से भी हो,
Correct.
अमीर हो गरीब हो, कोई भी रिलीजन की हो। मैं तो ये कभी सोचा ही नहीं था, मुझे जब प्यार हुआ तो हो गया। और वो थॉट कभी आया नहीं मेरे दिमाग में जब व्हेन आई मेट तानिया। It was just I just saw her and I knew she was the one. So I don't know. I mean, I really don't look into these things, and I think that's how love happens, because you have a checklist. I feel people make these checklists that it should be like this, it should be like this, but the day they meet that person in their life,
Goes out the window.
because there's this magical connection that happens, you know, and things just start connecting.
Yeah.
You know.
Fair. Do you guys still have date nights?
नहीं, वही मैं लड़ता रहता हूँ अपनी वाइफ के साथ, हम लोग कहीं जाते ही नहीं हैं।
आप लड़ते हो उनके साथ या वो लड़ती हैं आपके साथ?
मैं लड़ता हूँ। नहीं, मैं एक्चुअली मुझे बाहर जाने का शौक इतना है नहीं।
घर पे भी होती है डेट नाइट्स?
यहाँ घर पर ही मतलब हम बैठते हैं और हर दिन शाम सुबह दोपहर को ताने पूछती कि आज शाम को क्या खाएगा। हमारी डेट नाइट उससे वहाँ से शुरू होती है, सुबह उठते ही व्हाट डू यू वांट फॉर लंच, व्हाट डू यू वांट फॉर ब्रेकफास्ट।
What's the most romantic thing you've done for her? If you had to think back to one moment. You look like a romantic.
I am a romantic, but the most romantic thing I've done for her is I don't remember. I can't really think of something I can say right now. I mean,
Maybe
if
you cooked for her or took her out on a special.
I
Maybe
used to-
celebrities do that thing, you know, they show in movies that book a private jet and take the
नहीं
partner
नहीं
to
नहीं,
a.
why waste money like that?
Oh, fair.
I mean, गिफ्ट ही खरीद के दे दो,
हाँ.
प्लेन में क्यों खर्च करने पैसे?
True.
No, I mean, we just had special evenings like that. I've surprised her with things on and off, but eventually she said, "Stop surprising me because the things you get, I don't like them." So I said, "Okay, you choose whatever you want."
Story.
And just let me know.
Yeah, story of every relationship, I think.
Yeah, but that's how it is. That's why I say, I mean, what is romantic? Romantic? Nothing. It's just being happy with each other. That's romance.
Do you guys have a favorite song? Like a lot of couples, they have one song which is their
Actually,
song.
we never had a favorite song, but when I was dating her, I used to listen to old Hindi songs, and there was a song when once her family and my family agreed on us getting married. So there was a song, "तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग है, तू जहाँ ले जाए साथी हम संग हैं."
Wow.
So I used to sing to her to irritate her. But that was what I used to like these old songs. I used to just sing it to her in my Besura voice.
It is so sweet to see you blush when I'm talking to you about your wife, because a lot of your recent work, you've barely smiled, right? You've been so like, you know, macho and
No, because
aggressive.
those are
so-
different characters, I guess. I mean, you play, and that's the fun of being an actor. But yeah, when you think of your own personal life, it brings a smile on your face. It brings sorrow, but it brings a lot of smile on my face when I think of my wife.
Yeah.
You know,
So, who's funnier between the two of you?
I think I am.
Yeah. 30 years down the line, do you still make her laugh?
No, I think I irritate her more than make her laugh. I think I have a great sense of humor, but she doesn't agree with that.
I think your love language is roasting, or maybe annoying.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. You know, yeah, उसमें ज़्यादा मज़ा है.
उसमें ज़्यादा मजा है.
हाँ,
Correct.
चिढ़ाना किसी को.
बचपन में होता था ना, प्लेग्राउंड में if you're irritating one girl, then
Yeah.
वैसे how do you know that somebody is the one?
I have no answer for that. I just know when I met my wife, I knew she was the one. I don't know. I mean, it had to be her. Because when I met her, I just realized, I just decided that I'm getting married. You know?
No.
So it just happened.
Do your sons ask you these kind of questions? Do you sit and have philosophical
No,
conversations?
before they can ask me, they already know the story behind how me and my wife met.
Fair. Do your sons teach you things? Like, have they introduced you to their new Gen Z lingo or music or films or other stuff?
Not really. I mean, they know me enough that I won't really will be interested in the lingo. But sometimes when they talk and say things, I'm like, what are you saying? What does that mean? You know? But it's only then when they tell me what it means. But
Yeah.
they don't really use that much of that lingo.
No?
No.
Well, then that's nice because a lot of people around me keep using. For example, when I was researching about you, so my intern came to me with a couple of things and they were just talking about you in general that, oh my God, Bobby Deol is so cool and hot. And then, you know, he's like a professional mogger.
Mogger.
Mogger. Do you know? Do you want to take a guess what that means?
I really can't even imagine what it means.
Mogger means somebody who outshines anybody in terms of looks. Like he looks the
Oh,
best.
that's
So
so
he's like a
sweet.
professional mogger.
It's nice to know that. Please thank your intern.
Yeah, we'll do. I'll share this clip with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what is one quality that you feel is a non-negotiable that probably you'd want your kids to have in life?
Honesty, I think.
Yeah?
And honesty brings simplicity in a person. Because when you're honest, you become more simple about things in life. I think the most beautiful thing I saw in my wife was that she was so simple. You know, she was just simple and normal. She was just. That's what I loved about her the most. So I think that's what it is.
And is there a quality that you don't want your kids to inherit from you? Maybe a vice or a quality?
I mean, my quality. Yeah, I mean, right now in this phase of my life, I'm very positive, and they've seen me go through my different phases of life, and I don't want them to ever get influenced. I mean, I think they've seen that phase, and I think those qualities which brought me down, they know that those are not good qualities. I don't think they'll ever imbibe them. So they know that.
Fair enough. Abhi, but recently I was watching this interview of Shabana Azmi ma'am, and she was just talking about how her last movie on screen was with Dharmendra ji, and then she's shooting with Sunny Deol and Karan, and she very, cutely mentioned that, I will tell Bobby to be ready now. He's next in line. So, do you come across these conversations, these interviews?
You know, Rishi ji, I remember once I was flying and he was in the same flight and he was sitting in the front row and I was a little behind. So he said, come and sit next to me. I said, no, uncle, my seat's behind. You come sit here. Whoever comes, you can get up there. I said, okay. I sat with him. He says, Bobby, I've been thinking, in this industry I've worked with so many actors. I think I've worked with everybody, but I haven't worked with you. And I said, yeah, Rishi, uncle, I haven't, worked with you. He said, we must work together. I said, Hanji, but never got that opportunity. So it felt bad that I never got to work with him. He was an amazing actor.
Yeah, he's done iconic stuff.
Yeah.
Fair. Actually, you're quite candid and interesting in interviews is one thing I've realized about you in my research. You've said certain lines which really made me laugh. For example, recently in an interview you spoke about how every actor in the South that you've worked with ended up becoming a minister.
नहीं वो होता है ना जैसे हम लोग बैठते हैं दोस्तों से मिलते हैं तेरे को पता है मैंने उससे हाथ मिलाया और देख उसने सेंचुरी मार दी
Double century.
Yeah, I mean double century मार दी तो you feel excited because it's not that you've done it but it's just that you know how you want to make yourself feel
Yeah.
वो बचपना आ जाता है so I just said it. I mean I just find it very amusing. I amuse myself thinking like that.
But you do enjoy cricket.
I love cricket.
Yeah. Who's your favorite cricketer?
Well, my first favorite cricketer was always Kapil Dev. Because I loved the all-rounder part of him. The kind of, he was a batsman, bowler, never had injuries. And I used to just love his attitude on the field. But yes, Sunny Gavaskar, I mean, again, a legend.
Yeah.
So I grew up watching them and I used to love Mohinder Amarnath. And so there have been quite a few cricketers I've liked. But, I think now it's so nice to see so many young cricketers getting the opportunities. And I just feel sad that when some youngster has done good at their game, I just feel very worried because the media takes over them.
Yeah.
Their own people try to influence them, make them feel so much more. They make them start making them feel they're bigger than other cricketers, and they kind of put a fear in them.
Yeah.
And they start living with that weight on their head. Why
Correct.
can't you just let these young cricketers be? and let them perform as sportsmen.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's something I wish doesn't happen. Because Suryavanshi now, I just feel that people just expect him to hit a century or a 50 and 14 balls or 10 balls.
Yeah.
That's not fair. You know, he did what he did and he's capable of a lot more. It's just that I feel people should just let him be.
Yeah, correct.
You know, and there's so many other cricketers like that who have lost their position in the teams because of all these reasons.
Yeah,
You know,
of a public narrative also.
I mean, even some legends who are there right now have lost their position in so many of the different formats of cricket because of all this.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really sad.
And you know, when you talk to them, and I've been lucky to sit with a couple of young cricketers and talk to them, all they say is that, you know, they've grown up wanting, like it was their childhood dream. जैसे हर लड़के की ड्रीम होती है बचपन में कि मैं क्रिकेटर बनूंगा, बने या ना बने. And they said that, you know, all we wanted to do was play for India and we're doing that and that's it.
Yeah.
एक टाइम था कि जब हम दूर से देखते थे और आज के टाइम पे हम इंडिया की जर्सी पहन के बाहर खेलने जा रहे हैं, तो वो उनका माइंडसेट है कि उनको नहीं चाहिए बाहर की नॉइज़.
हाँ वही ना, पर वही तो होता है. इसीलिए it's sad that this happens, but I mean there's only two things people think about in India is to either become a cricketer or an actor.
Yeah.
I mean if you really look at it percentage wise, and it's so tough to get into both the professions.
Correct.
You know, I like, for me OTT is like IPL. You get an opportunity and then when you do good work then you get a chance to play for the work for cinemas.
इंडिया टीम में सिलेक्शन हो
You
जाएगा.
know, so it's like that, IPL and playing for your country.
करेक्ट. आपको कोई फेवरेट मैच है जो आपने अपनी लाइफ में देखा और आपको याद है?
मुझे बहुत अफसोस है कि मैं वो मैच देख नहीं पाया
कौन सा?
जब पहला वर्ल्ड कप हम जीते थे और कपिल जी ने वो 175 बनाए थे और हम जीत के फाइनल्स में पहुंचे थे. उस दिन टेलीकास्ट ही नहीं हुआ था, तो मुझे उस बात का बहुत अफसोस है. It was saddest thing that happened because that was just like a movie happening for the Indian cricket team. They were just not giving up and kept winning and fighting it.
करंट लॉट में आपको कोई फेवरेट क्रिकेटर है?
सब अच्छे बच्चे हैं यार, सब अच्छा खेल रहे हैं, सब कोशिश कर रहे हैं. मतलब मेरा एक नहीं, मेरे तो काफ़ी फेवरेट्स हैं, इतने अच्छा खेलते हैं सब लोग.
दो तीन बता दो फिर.
दो तीन, like there's so many. I mean, I just feel that it's not fair on the other cricketers who are also doing their best and they're not getting that much of what do you call, they've not been able to achieve more. So I don't want to take names
Opportunity.
and make them feel less about themselves. I feel every cricketer, every boy, every girl who's playing cricket is trying to play their best, you know, and I think they all are good. So that's what I think.
Fair, very calculated, but I like that.
No, it's not calculated. I mean,
In the sense that you take into account the emotion of other people.
yeah, because
too.
I can take names. I mean, like, look at Suryavanshi. Look at Suryavanshi now. We never imagined him to be, but look at Surya Kumar Yadav.
Yeah.
I mean, now suddenly everything's gone wrong for him.
Yeah.
You know, so
But a while ago, everybody was lauding for
so
him.
the
and
whole
that's
thing
how
is that
quickly-
it's just there are so many people who get chances and they try, and you know, in cricket is like one bad day and you don't perform right.
Fair.
You know, and then everything goes against you.
Yeah. Are you the kind of a person who lives more in the present, in the past, or in the future?
I think too much,
Yeah.
so I live in all the moments.
But you think too much about the past or the future?
I think more about the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does
Because
that
I
make
can't.
you-
Because I don't think about the past for a simple reason that I don't want to cry over spilt milk. You know,
Yeah.
whatever happened in my past was meant happened, and I don't blame anyone for it. I blame myself for it. And I think if you keep thinking about your past and crying about it, then you can never have a good day. First of all, your present won't be good. It's just that you always are worried about the future because you have kids. You know, and
Yeah.
that makes you think more, I feel.
Fair. At what age were you when you realized that you have great looks and you have a great sense of style?
I never thought of myself in that manner till I think my brother told me once. He was just saying you're so good looking and he was so happy that his brother is so good looking. And my dad, he always wanted this child which looked like this picture he had seen in a book, in a encyclopedia. But I never thought about myself in that way.
Yeah.
You know, I just feel that I think it's your personality that counts more, and clothes. I think the passion came, the influence came from my dad
Yeah.
and my brother, because I remember I used to hate wearing clothes. I mean, not wearing clothes, but I used to hate going shopping. I hate wearing clothes. You know, when I was a kid, I was really chubby and fat. So my mother used to take me shopping, and she used to get fed up. Then she had to go into I was underage, so the youngsters, and there was who were teenagers. So she had to take me to the clothes to buy from the older people section, and then they would be long on my leg. And she used to get fed up, and I said, I don't want to shop. And then eventually, I used to just never bother about clothes. And then one day when I suddenly was in college, and I एकदम से लंबा हो गया मैं. You know, you suddenly catch your height.
The adolescence hits and then.
And suddenly you become slim. And then I was in England, and my dad, who always loved clothes, went into one store and he started picking up clothes. And what was amazing about my dad, he'd just go to one store and pick up everything what he liked in different colors. So I was with him, and he kept buying things for himself and buying one for me and one for my brother. And that's when I started wearing it and fitting, and I'm like, they look nice, man. My dad always looks nice. I'm also looking a little like him. So that's how I fell in love with clothes.
Yeah.
And I have a disease of shopping. I keep buying clothes. And now online is like, I hate going onto my phone because I end up spending money every time on it.
Yeah, that happens to all of us. Yeah, but I think for a lot of people it's therapeutic also.
It is. I believe that the more you spend, the more you make.
That's great philosophy.
Yeah.
And on that note, we'll have to sort of, I think we've come to the end of this, but before we take your leave, what is that one piece of advice you'd like to give to all the people watching? And these are young kids, okay? So all they have in their life right now is hope plus struggle.
See, I've already said it in my interview many a times while I was speaking to you that the most important thing is don't lie to yourself. Because you know from inside you know inside what are you capable of. And always remember that every one of us has been gifted something special. There's a gift God has given all of us. When you start believing in yourself, then that you'll feel that gift, and whatever profession you want to get into, maybe when it's not working, that gift will make you realize that there's something else you can fall on and do that, So just be true to yourself, be honest, and be humble. These are the three things I always say to anyone, because that's what my father always told me.
Yeah.
Because God is there watching from above. Just use the right way to achieve anything in life.
No, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Bobby Deol. You have been wonderful, and it was a great time talking to you. I will shake your hand because, maybe like a Shubman Gill, you could be my lucky charm as well. So, thank you so much. I'll let you know if something really dramatically
I'm going to start charging
happens.
people for this.
You should. You definitely should. Hopefully, you won't charge us for the autographs we'll take for you.
No.
Okay, lovely. Take.